As many of you know, James Gunn has taken the helm of the DCU, kicking things off with his wonderful Superman film, a movie so unpretentious and genuine it made my withered heartstrings melt just a little. I suppose the natural follow-up would feature a character who is cynical, jaded, and dealing with immense loss, which is what Gunn set up for Supergirl at the bitter end of Superman, a drunk, party girl, washing her problems away with a tsunami of alcohol. A compelling concept for a character that, for all intents and purposes, is a god. When basking in the light of a yellow sun, our sun is actually white, but who really cares? She is nearly identical to Superman in her abilities. Yet, she rejects the mantle, opting to party on planets that allowed her to feel pain and get wasted. Naturally, there are many ways to help this character move from her depressive, miserable state to a brighter tomorrow. Supergirl does not follow any of the potentially interesting paths. Instead of following a character forced to make decisions that test her complicated morals and ethics, we get a story about a girl who just punches the bad guys endlessly. However, the punching doesn't begin until she decides to help a young girl on some foreign planet whose parents were killed by the evil outlaw Krem, who coincidentally also steals Supergirl's spaceship and paralyzes her dog with some nerve toxin, forcing Supergirl to chase after him to get the antidote. If you think you've seen this story before, you have. A lot. It's an incredibly dull revenge plot pushed along by plot conveniences without end. Space pirates happen to know exactly where to find Krem, who somehow knows her weakness, somehow finds a planet with a kryptonite sun, somehow captures Lobo, and somehow can't kill a 12-year-old girl. Despite this incredibly generic plot and the poor way it tells its story, the real icing on the shit cake is these terrible characters. Starting with Krem, the antagonist. A man so comically evil, he may as well have been stepping on baby kittens the entire movie for fun. He's a sex trafficker, a ruthless murderer, and totally fine shooting dogs with a nerve toxin. A good villain is a character that, in their own deluded way, thinks they are right. Doc Ock wants to create clean energy for his city. The Joker wants to prove that everyone has a breaking point, and Al from Al's Toy Barn wants to make a bunch of money. They are driven by something, and Krem is driven by nothing. What his ultimate goal is, I have no idea. Is he trying to help his people? Does he want to make money to make his life easier? Does he want to prove that Supergirl isn't that different from himself? Who knows? I doubt the writers even do. Frequently, these villains can also be used to offset the hero, as I mentioned. Batman's moral code is tested by the Joker's lack of a code. Venom amplifies the negative traits of the hero, and so on. A part of the villain's strength is the hero's problem, whereas here, the hero is about as flat as the villain. Most of Supergirl's arc rests wholly on the audience making up how her arc happened. She begins the film as a drunk party girl who can't face her trauma, and she ends the film putting her party days behind her. Why? Your guess is as good as mine. The 12-year-old girl she is with certainly doesn't help her accomplish this, as nearly every action and line of dialogue confirms that all she wants is revenge. Something Supergirl wants to save her from. Again, I must ask, why? Supergirl's trauma is from her planet collapsing and her people dying. She's cynical about people because people doomed her beloved parents. Yet, all she ever does is help people and do the right thing. Her morals are never tested because her morals are as flimsy and flexible as the film needs them to be at any given moment. She doesn't want revenge because there is no revenge to be had against a planet collapsing after years of neglect. The 12-year-old girl, however, sees her entire family murdered by Krem with her own eyes. Similar characters with different coping mechanisms that are not challenged in the least. Why save the girl from revenge when Supergirl hasn't reaped the consequences of revenge? Would she not push the girl for revenge because she never took it herself? Why pair them up in the first place if this buddy comedy isn't funny and they have no chemistry? The film is fundamentally broken. From the start, all it wants to accomplish is getting us to the inevitable ending where she's a good guy who wants to work with Superman for an upcoming movie. As boring and see-through as the story is, the characters are far worse, ranging from uninteresting to downright horrendous. I genuinely don't know what the goal was here, beyond being a setup for something else. A feat accomplished by only the worst Marvel movies up until now. 3 out of 10.